Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is me, UrbanL5, casting a show match here. Just a couple of fun games that a friend of mine, EvilMurlock, sent me versus one of the top players in the scene, Tatanka. Just two games to cover, and I've been told they're really good. Can't miss them, so here we go. Let's see how they go. In the east is Tatanka, playing Hopper as always, and in the far west is Murlock, playing the KSR. Pretty close rush distance here. Yeah, so to clarify, this is not like a tournament game or anything like that. I know there is a big tournament going on right now, and I've been casting some of those games, but this is just like a little fun show match. I don't think I'm not sure how many games they were played. If Murlock just selected the best ones. Um, but it looks like Tatanka faking a mole rush here when he actually is just playing Lizard with a box deck. So interesting deck here for Tatanka. Might be looking for a contain. Oh, going for the 4-farm double here. Double Lizard. Murlock needs to see this fast. There he goes. He's down. Needs to go home. Yep. Good reaction time. Will it be fast enough? Oh, yeah. Sell these guys. Not this fast. Okay, this is pretty slow. Tatanka should be able to get a farm here. Yeah, look, two lizards already out. Oh, it might even lose a mine. No, it doesn't. See that? So now Murlock gonna try to body block his pigs, but that has been removed in the latest patch. These mines are a mistake. Yeah, they're free value here for Tatanka's lizards. That's a 20 food bonus he loves to take, and that's one pig and a mine going down. So wow. Excuse me if I sound a little sick, guys. Been a little under the weather recently. But Tatanka coming out way ahead in that trade. Gets a pig, so 60 food. And I think he got another 2 mines as well, so 100 food there, and Tatanka not losing a single lizard. So of the games that Murlock sent me, supposedly good games, not looking good for Murlock right off the rip here. Maybe he can turn it around though. It's not game over yet. Both players are on similar farms. Tatanka only up one farm at the moment, and they both have about the same amount of tier 1, excuse me. And I think at this point, it's just going to be Murlock and Tatanka slowly just staying on this amount of tier 1 and getting up more farms. Never mind, Tatanka throwing down another tier 1 warren, looking to keep on the pressure. This is a rough spot for Murlock because he has to... Oh, that is so greedy from Murlock here. Sells off, so now he's down to 3 squirrels and a couple mines versus Tatanka's 7 tier 1. Such a greedy play. Tatanka's going to have to try to punish this, right? The thing is, when you're behind like this, oh, like Murlock is, wow, Tatanka not going to go for it. He's just going to buy more tier 1 with it. You have to make risky plays like this, right? Otherwise, you're just going to fall so far behind that it's going to be impossible to come back. So I really enjoyed this play from Murlock, and it looks like it's going to work out for him. You know, he's definitely managed to stabilize in this game. You can see income, you know, there's little jumps here for Tatanka. Tatanka getting those farms done a little bit earlier than Murlock and for a little longer. But the army values are similar now, and while Murlock is definitely still behind, he's definitely not out of this game by any means. So Tatanka gonna take an expansion to the south, and honestly, I didn't expect that. Tatanka's been kind of setting up forward here. He's got some mines. He has this forward mill that will give him territory range up to this high ground here, where he could put down balloons, where he could start building his double tier 3 deck. It would be actually a really good box map. It would any like defenses here would really shut out both of these mills. But maybe not too confident with the balloon versus Mass Tier 1 from EvilMurlock, so just gonna opt to second base farm up instead. And this is pretty greedy from Tatanka. And looks like Murlock's gonna try to punish it actually. Does he know about these mines? Because there's a couple mines on the way for Tatanka. Hits one. The other is way out of the way. But it might be a bit of a mental edge here. Murlock doesn't know there's no more mines, so he's gonna move forward. Sees this, another one goes off. Gets the mole on the mine. And now it's starting to poke on some of these warrens. Tatanka looking to dive it. Moles are here, lizards as well from Tatanka, but it looks like... Okay, yeah, Tatanka has to retreat back to the warrens. Moles doing so much tanking, they're so valuable in this situation. And these are warrens going down for Tatanka, and yeah, Murlock gonna pull back. This is a perfect point to pull back here. Just to disengage for a little bit, wait for some more reinforcements. Now gonna slowly try to re-engage, waiting for these moles. They're such an important part of sustaining this push here. And at this point, Murlock probably is just gonna be able to take out, if not the game, yeah, this is a ton of value. So he's gonna kill a lot here, and he wants to keep this pressure on, but can he is the question. Tatanka down to just 5 tier 1 warrens, frantically trying to rebuild. And there's random mines out all across the map for Tatanka. they're on similar farms. You know, Tatanka has that extra mill, right? So he has a little bit of a lead. Here comes the fight. The lizards are just straight engaging, which is not really how you want to use them. They're not as tanky as the moles. They do a little bit more damage, but in this defensive position, these lizards are not being very helpful for Tatanka. And that is Warrens going down from so far behind. This looks like Murlock really beating down on Tatanka now. But at this point, this is going to be really hard to push in for Murlock. All the front pigs are dead. All the front Warrens are dead. So we're going to get this another starting pig. But, excuse me. He's going to try to keep going for it. This is a razor's edge. It doesn't look that close, but it is. A couple just extra units and some poor targeting from these squirrels is going to send Murlock home. Yeah, he needs to keep this pressure on, but he also can't. The tier 1 accounts are really similar right now. Yeah, you can see Murlock lost a lot in that last fight. You know, he's getting damage done. He's actually managed to somewhat even up the economies. It's close now. You can see that Tatanka has a pretty nice farm lead for this whole game. So the longer this game goes on, that's Murlock just losing. He is expanding now. I like this. I like this decision to expand a lot. I think pressuring the mill here is fine. Yeah, just like with 1 or 2 squirrels, and then waiting for an engage from Tatanka. But I think this window is gonna have passed. Yeah, Tatanka is stabilizing as well, just like Murlock did earlier in the game. But now it's Murlock's turn to throw down some farms. He's actually taking the farm lead for the first time this game. And moving out with 12 squirrels to even counts, though. Excuse me if I'm sniffling too much. Yeah, huh. It's so funny that both players brought, like, kind of weird, like, tier 2, tier 3 decks. Tatanka obviously with the box. And it's never gonna happen. It's just literally, like, pure squirrel, essentially, with some mole and some lizards thrown on top. Murlock just kind of poking around a little bit, trying to get some slim pickings on either end, but it's actually Tatanka taking the tier 1 lead right now. But Murlock with the farm lead, just barely. This game is so back and forth. Murlock did a really good, really, if you want to study like great tier 1 aggression, this fight earlier in the game was so good from Murlock. This is what he does, absolutely does best. Yeah, that was so, if he just kept right-clicking in, the mass of squirrels would have slowly trickled off, and he would have just ended up losing eventually. But the fact that he was able to know, like, just little micro moments when to pull out, wait for a couple more moles to come in and retake those fights, that was so smart. It's just a thing you really get just by intuition, right? I don't know if you can really train that kind of feeling of knowing exactly when to move in and when to pull out. But yeah, that was really well played from Murlock, capitalizing like not a lot of other players really could have. Yeah. He ended up getting like 4 or 5 Warrens, and then plus these 4 farms as well. Oh, Murlock looking for a different engage angle. He has these moles. It's just squirrel on squirrel. But Tatanka has so much tier 1 here. Is this going to be enough? This is such a close fight. It looks like Murlock has this. More units trickling in for Tatanka. He's going to get these mines, and he's going to send Tatanka home. Forced to sell off these front Warrens. They would have got picked off by Murlock. And now what does Tatanka do? He's down to 4 tier 1. Murlock can just pressure this mill, and there's not a whole lot Tatanka can do about it. He's up to 8 squirrels. Will he look for the engage? This is a bit of an awkward attack here for Murlock. A couple squirrel shots going onto the mill, which is not where you want them to be. And yeah, this is going to be Tatanka pushing him back. Not a very well... Yeah, this is the danger of fighting around such a high health mill like this. Tatanka was on the back foot. If Murlock just pulled out, he would have been in such a good spot. But overspending just a little bit, and that's the danger with these tier 1 only engagements, right? A tiny overextension can totally swing the match. And look, now again, and now it's Tatanka back on top. He's taking the farm lead. He's taking a bit of a unit lead as well. And he's got a lot of map control as well. He's got the really safe expansion. He's got mines all over the map to tell him what's happening. And Murlock just needs to stay in this just by the skin of his teeth. It's so close. It's actually so close. Yeah, Murlock's just behind by a little bit. And also some of his army values in mines, keep in mind. So there's a bit of a difference here, but there's probably, what, 4 mines in the map? So that's another 80 foods. This is pretty similar in terms of tier 1 count for both players. The question is, who has the upper hand? If this game goes longer, Tatanka can take this mill easily. It's super defendable. Murlock, same thing, can take this base, super defendable. This base might be Murlock's, honestly. It's hard to see, but this base is almost, it's lost. It's just a tanking unit, right? Like, if Murlock ends up taking out this mill at some point, this mill is probably his. Until then, it's probably a no man's mill, but I can see third base is getting dropped here. I really want to see a player, like, especially Murlock. I cannot believe he has not dropped Skunks yet. One Skunk Warren for Murlock just wins this game. I know that Tatanka will move out, but Murlock has mines, right? He could try to play defensively. He's got a pretty similar tier 1 count, and Tatanka's on literally just pure squirrel. So one Skunk Warren totally changes this game for Murlock, but he's just sticking on the tier 1 right now. I think he's worried that if he decides to drop a tier 2 Warren, Tatanka will just right-click in and win the fight, which is definitely a valid concern. It could happen. But here it is. Yeah, Skunk Warren dropped by Murlock. This is the play. This is Tatanka going, I have to push in now, otherwise these skunks are going to obliterate my deck. So actually, Tatanka has a couple options here. He can probably guess it's skunks. There's not really a lot else he would place here. Yeah, so he's going to do the other option, which is instead of pushing in, which I don't think he had enough, so I think it's a good play by Tatanka to not push in. He's going to play back, and he's going to play lizards instead. So lizards are still tier 1, so the skunks do okay against tier 1. But definitely not as good against lizards as they are against squirrels. Lizards can run past the gas, bait out gas shots to keep them off the squirrels, and they're actually a pretty decent counter to skunks. So a couple lizard thrown on top of Tatanka's already strong tier 1 army will do well against these skunks. But the really big part of this game is Tatanka has expanded, but all of these farms in the back have fallowed out. They've been farming for so long that actually it's Murlock here, up to 8 farms. A couple of these are going to fallow out. These are on 1 wheat here. You can see those are going to fallow out pretty soon. But Murlock moving forward, actually, wow. I like how the mines are damaging each other. And looking for some pre-gas. This is a brutal poke. Oh my god, this is so rough for Tatanka. There's so much water here. He just literally cannot push across this gap. Murlock has free reign to just rain hell upon his troops, and dropping a second skunk horn as well. Like, what can Tatanka do here? He just has to sacrifice these pigs. There's nothing else you can do. These pigs they're just dead if Murlock decides to keep pre-gassing. Because you can't push across this water. No one can push across this water. And a couple more skunks building now for Murlock. Getting that pre-gas down. He needs to be careful though. If Tatanka decides to move out, yeah, this pre-gas is so nice here for Murlock. He's looking for the other engage. Murlock knows there's another choke here though. He really doesn't want any of this to happen. He's looking for a different engagement angle on the new mill. What a great runaround by Tatanka. The pre-gas is good though. It's not on top of the squirrels. Is the gas enough? It is. I think it's enough, right? And that's Murlock taking this game. What a close fight. Murlock able to swing that from a horrible, horrible rush at the start of the game to stabilizing just barely, and then a little bit of greed from Tatanka. He's able to capitalize so effectively and punch back. Beautifully played from Murlock. GG's. Alright. I want to go see in game 2 now. Alright, let's go see game number 2. Now, keep in mind, these were sent to me by Murlock, So with Tatanka, he wasn't playing, like, super hard, probably. Obviously both players are trying, but here we go. Tatanka in the south, and Murlock in the north. But it's not like a tournament game or anything, right? So these players they're playing for fun. Obviously, Tatanka's playing a box deck, which is kind of memey, kind of, it can be okay, but it's kind of memey. But yeah, excellent game. Wow, that was super cool. And Murlock going with a really, really strong wolf deck here. Probably the most strong wolf deck, especially from last patch. These moles have received a bit of a nerf from their prior patch glory. They actually have half their DPS they used to, which is a pretty significant nerf. They still have the specialty against warrens and buildings and stuff like that. They still do their same crit structure damage. However, they do way less damage to actual units now, which kind of totally changes their use in fights. It used to be a drop, like auto, just, okay, I'm going to drop these down before a fight, let's go in. They do damage, they tank, it's everything. And now they kind of just tank in a fight and deal with warrens, so not quite such an all-rounder unit like they used to be. On the other hand, Tatanka going with a wolf boar deck. It's so interesting to see this combo. Tatanka really likes it, but I really don't get it, honestly. I mean, I guess that's just the top meta player speaking, and I have no idea what he's doing, but the idea behind the wolf boar is that, well, let me explain first. The wolf obviously buffs the attack speed and movement speed of units. However, there's a couple units the wolf doesn't buff the attack speed of, which one of those is the boar. The boar doesn't do extra damage or attack damage faster. It has an AoE effect, right, with the boar flame. Which doesn't get affected by the wolf. The only effect it really has is is making the boar move faster, and which can help chase down some, get the boar bomb into the center of the army. So you want the boar to move into the army, take a ton of tanking damage, and then blow up, wiping the tier 1 of the opponent, and that's kind of the strat there. If you can't do that, also Wolf is just really good with Cam and Falcon, so Wolf's just a super great all-rounder tier 3, and then the boar kind of a cherry on top. I think I would have preferred like Badger to boar here, but it's Tatanka's specialty. He likes it. I've seen some results with it too, so I can't say it doesn't work. It's just like a kind of an unintuitive pick, I guess. So Tatanka again in this game, the first one to expand, taking just a single farm. Maybe a little worried after that last game, realizing he got a little too greedy. Excuse me. And also Toads from Tatanka, a unit that received the buff last batch. But here we go. It's Cam versus Skunk. Skunks are moving in. Mole's getting dropped. Second Skunk on its way. This is going to be an interesting fight. Tatanka has these Toads. Yeah, but these Cams are really going to be the cherry on top. They're going to do a really good job. Unless they get caught. Oh, mine's going off not super well. One Skunk getting taken out by the Cams. Save that Skunk if you can. No, the Skunk goes down. Toad's getting decent connections as well. But wow, actually Murlock the one to win this fight. Just by a couple tier 1 units as well. And going to look to push his advantage a little bit. So in this rebuilding time, he's going to get out one Warren. He can probably get another. Oh, he wants this Warren. Can he get it? Yes, he can. He's going to go home. Nice value here from Murlock. I guess this mines did more than I saw. I'd have to go back and watch that again to see exactly what those mines did. But maybe the Toads didn't do quite what Tatanka was expecting him to do. I only saw one Toad explosion, so I think he had 6 Toads down or something like that. So maybe a lot of the Toads got shot down and didn't get their value, which is why Murlock ended up winning that fight, even with the decent cam snipes on those Skunks. Honestly, Murlock probably could have saved those Skunks if he was paying a little more attention to the cam's targeting. Looking for some poking. He has these mines out in the field. I don't know if Tatanka saw them. I don't know if he knows about these mines. It's hard to see with the commander vision. He might know. They were pretty close to his base. I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't know they were here. And moving in these... Oh, if these go off in the cams... Oh, the cams take all the mine shots, which reveals them and does all the damage they need to. So some kiting here, waiting for the second skunk. It's now here, and this is Murlock again, cleaning up everything. And it's even worse than last time for Tatanka, because he's got 2 skunks now, in which to pre-gas these pigs and put so much pressure on the tier 1 here. Yeah, what can Tatanka really do here? This pre-gas is just going to wipe him unless he's got more cams entering the field. Here they come. This pre-gas is so brutal. It needs to save these skunks. He does. Cam goes down again, and this gas is on top of every single tier 1 for Tatanka. And slowly, Murlock, with this pre-gas, is just going to do so much damage. One pig going to go down, it looks like, trying just desperately to save these skunks. He needs both of them alive. This is, again, a razor's edge. Yeah, the cam here. This is going to send Murlock home. He can't kill this cam, I think. He's going to try. Tatanka saves the cam. So nicely done. But look, he doesn't have enough tier 1. He's losing Warrens, and this cam is healing up in the water over here, but doesn't have enough health actually to engage right now. He needs to heal up before he can re-engage. Second cam here. First cam healed up. Is this enough though? There's only 2 squirrels from Tatanka. These skunks doing so much work. Cam's going down, and this looks like it's it. Tatanka taps. GG's. Murlock taking that. Wow, so great show match here from our players. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you around.